Chandler and Michael Chandler.
Hi. Are we live? Oh my gosh, we're live and we're having a lot of fun. You can hear all the giggling because we are trying to make sure that we're pronouncing our guest's name right. This is what happens behind the scenes, friends. There's a lot of shenanigans with the co-founders getting us all mic'd up and all this stuff.
That's right.
Well,
it is a process.
Well, so, there's many reasons why this is happening. And we know this because we talked about it yesterday, but there's some shifts in the astral planetary shifts, 100%. Which Remy can describe for us. Come here, Remy. I want you to tell us all what's going on.
The first new moon of the year happened, and that means there's great new beginnings. You're going to shed some negativity and you're just going to get ready for the new year. It could be good, it could be bad, but you should think of it as good.
And there you have it. Yeah. So, all that stuff's happening. Plus, we have like a really bizarre weather front moving through St. Louis.
Yeah.
So for those of you that
I feel about this.
Yeah, for those of you that are not from St. Louis, it's very funny. St. Louis, our weather is so predictable, unpredictable. So we get told that we're going to have snow and nothing shows up. We get told we're going to have rain and nothing shows up.
Then we trust issues.
Right. So, again,
I can help with that.
It's the literal joke that every weatherman has. Like, I can be wrong. It's, that's the weather. It's unpredictable. This is now like, it's getting real. Like, I'm going to go out and buy milk and bread.
If there was still bread on the shelves.
I'm going.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going after this between meetings. I'm like, I need to go get some bread and some milk and some soup and make sure that my people get fed.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not too excited. Like, normally I'd be like really excited about it, but we're traveling this weekend for gymnastics to French Lick, Indiana.
Yes. I forgot about
go right through there.
Girl.
And I'm like,
you better get the sled out.
I can't push a sled.
Get your snowshoes on.
Oh my God. No, I just look at everything as like a fall rest.
Oh yeah. Yes. I know. This is the age we're at and the situations we're in.
Oh my God. I sound so old.
I know. No, that's okay. You're not old. No. Ice is real. Yeah. So we're super excited to have our guests. It's so funny. The last few guests we've had, I've not known. So I get the joy of doing these deep dives on these people, like the couple of days to do my research, because Angela, these are Angela's contacts. So I have this particular guest, I deep dived on yesterday, and she is just amazing. And a lot of the language she uses is exactly, I'm doing a reset for those of you who I haven't told yet. And my whole thing is, I really need to lead with love always. And because I tend to go a little bit in the negative sometimes and start beating myself up. And, I don't like that. It's a bad place to be as a human. So I'm really, really trying to reset my headspace. I'm trying to get out of my scarcity headspace. I don't have problems with boundaries, which we're going to talk about too. I am I am the queen.
Boundaries are my favorite.
Oh yeah. I am the queen of boundary setting. However, that said, I'm going to let Angela introduce our guest, who we're so excited to talk to.
So excited. I have been impressed with her since the day that I met her. All about her speaking career and how many companies she speaks to and how renowned she is in the community. And we are really, really lucky to have her here today.
Yes.
So, Justine Froelker. Did I say it right? Okay.
Good job.
Justine Froelker.
I know. Every time I look at people when they're like looking to introduce me, I'm like, it's Froelker, but just don't call me Justin and we're good. Like, you can just go with Justine.
Yeah.
Don't call me Justin. Like, Justin. And I'm like, I've been called Justin my whole life.
Oh my God.
My whole life.
Oh my gosh.
Like, or like when people are like, find me on social media, I'm like, no. But you find her in the whole wide world. Like, your name's Kelly Smith.
Yeah.
Like, no,
it's not a very common name. I will tell you, like, it was I have a lot of people have a hard time pronouncing my name, which we learned, I think, on the first podcast, which was named wrong. And there was all sorts of funny business going on with that. I'm sure your name has thoroughly been butchered
Oh, for
over
sure.
the years
Yep,
too.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
that said,
But it's also very memorable.
it is
as well.
memorable.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you are quite literally not a man, not a Justin at all. She's gorgeous. So you guys will see
Thank you.
pictures of her later. But good aura, good energy. So we're really excited to talk to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Justine's going to do just
Yeah.
a brief little
Yes.
intro, but Justine is not only a speaker, she is an author as well of several different books.
Mhm.
She is incredibly motivating and really focuses on courage, core values, and she has an exciting new project that she's
Yeah.
working on too that we can't wait to learn about. So
Ooh.
welcome to the co-founders.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you so much for
excited to
having me.
have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Yay. Well, we're going to get right into it,
Okay.
Justine. I mean, you probably know a little bit about us.
Mhm.
We love to talk to female founders and female leaders. And you have a very unique, I would say, voice and point of view when it comes to leadership and how to lead. And I'm so excited to hear you kind of describe your practice, because it is a practice, even
Mhm.
though you are,
Right.
well beyond a practitioner,
Mhm.
you start with that core value,
Yep.
right? So describe that for our listeners.
I always, whenever I have events, I always say like the courage work is a way of living and leading. And I can't make you do it.
Right.
This is an invitation to live and lead in a different way. Whether or not you accept that invitation is totally up to you. I'm going to teach you the skills, tools, and language of courage. Most of all, though, I'm going to model the work, because our strongest tool in the toolbox is to model the work. Be the adult you want your child to grow into.
Yes.
Be the leader that you want your people to be. And so I live it out. Like, one of the biggest things that I hear is, like, every time I go to an event, they're like, "You're exactly who I thought you would be."
Oh, I love
Right?
that.
Like, exactly as you present on
Mhm.
Instagram or whatever. You're shorter than I thought, but like, and so like, yep, I'm little and I'm loud and big, right?
Yeah.
I get it, but this courage work is about really, who were you created to be? Who do you want to be? Not the
Yeah.
stories that you've been told, not the stories that you've agreed to, not the roles that you play to other people.
Right.
Like, who are you outside of those things? And then
Right.
kind of really bringing that into all areas of life.
Mhm.
Because you are not a work person and a home person. You are one.
Which is so interesting, because I do find that people really do change their personas.
Oh, for sure.
And it is something that I fell in that trap for many years, because I worked in a male dominated, corporate culture, and I became very different from who I am authentically. And it took a lot of deprogramming to get me out of that. So describe for us like what your typical client comes in. Well, so you kind of started talking about your philosophies, but kind of talk to us about what that looks like.
So I'm actually a therapist by trade.
Mhm.
So, and I always like, half the people in the room will be like, yes, free therapy. And my employer's paying for it. Right. And then there's going to be some people like, oh God, we're going to talk about feelings today
Yeah.
at work. And it's like, and I always say, like, no matter where you are on that spectrum, like, there is something here for you. Like, take the nugget that you need, let the rest fall to the floor. And at the same time, like, even if it makes you uncomfortable and you don't like it, I want you to lean into it with curiosity, because growth only happens in discomfort. And so, like, you don't need to hold it close to your heart necessarily. Stay curious about it though. And hold it, like, come back to it later or something like that. And so, like, I've been in the mental health field for over 25 years. And so I was in private practice for 11 years. And then I took that risk, I guess 7 years to reach more people. And so I was certified in the work of Dr. Brene Brown for 11 years. And I launched a year ago. So that is Courage is Built Here.
So exciting.
So I'm really excited. Like, Brene's research is phenomenal. And but there were pieces that I felt like we needed more, especially working in the corporate space. I learned over and over and over, hardly anyone is emotionally regulated. I mean, all you have to do is pull out your phone to see that. But like, very few people know how to regulate their emotions, and very few people know how to take care of themselves. And so writing my own curriculum, I was able to bring in larger pieces of that. And so it's the human essential skills that most of us just weren't taught growing up, and they're not part of leadership programs. And if they are, they're considered the soft skills, except they are the essential skills, because you are not going to be able to integrate AI in a courageous way, or lean culture without working through the human essential skills.
So describe what those skills are.
Oh, so there's a lot. So
unpack
yeah.
that
So
bag.
courage, and I'll quickly go. Courage is built here. It has 5 pathways. So pathway 1 is feel it all. So that is where we start with values, because if you don't have clarity of values, you have nothing.
Can you back that up a little bit when it comes to core values and how you figure out kind of what your core values are? Because I feel like you kind of know in your head, but putting it down on paper is
It's a whole other
different thing.
The values workshop is one that is probably the one that I have people do the most with. Like, they repeat it with me most, like they like to come back and do it a lot. And so most research will show you that you only get 2 core values personally. And your values are the same, home and work. Now, if I'm working with an organization to help you operationalize your organization's values, it's more like 3 to maybe 6 values, right? There's more of them. If you got 10 as an organization, it's too many. And because there's no way you can live into all of them wholeheartedly. And when we really start to look at them, many of the same things. And so I was just with a team yesterday. I have a team in Nebraska that I work with, and the 2 of them were like, I have 4 values, Justine. I was like, no, you don't. And I was like, every single time I've had someone say I have more than 2, I'm able to kind of walk them through and get them down to the 2 main values. Now, that mean that those, so my 2 values are courage and love. They mean a lot of things to me. Courage means grit and self-discipline and accountability and speaking up when things are hard. It means a lot of things, though. Courage, though, that's the word. That's the word that holds power. Our values are what matters most to us. They are the deep roots that hold us grounded. When we live into those values, then we get the virtues. So when I live into my values, I get virtues like joy and community and awe and delight in my life. Values have to, though, be operationalized into behavior. So values are not just words painted on a wall. I want to be able to ask, one of my favorite questions is to ask people, if I were to follow you around for a week, would I be able to name your 2 values?
Do you think you would?
If you followed me around for a week, you would for sure know my values. For sure. They are operationalized into behavior. Now, we absolutely we will have people look at that really big long list of values that I have in my workbook, and they always freak out because I say, okay, you got 5 minutes to narrow it down to 2, and their brain freaks out. Right? And so, but I do it to 5 minutes because 1, you don't need to Google all of these words. You know what they mean to you. 2, if I give you more time, you get lost in the weeds and you start overthinking it. You actually really do know what your values are. You just probably have never sat your butt down and thought about it to really name them. But then more than that, we have to name, how do they show up in behavior in your life every single day? Who do you have in your life to reflect those values back to you? Because you have to have people that say ugh, you really screwed that up. That was not good. And I'm going to pick you back up and reflect your values back to me. Be like, that wasn't like you. Your value is courage. Let's get you back on track. Right. So you also have to know your tells. How do you know when you're not in your values? So those are behaviors too. Your values are they're the light. If you don't have clarity of values, you're stumbling around in the dark. And so it is too. But there's so many, some people 2 values, they butt up against each other. Values also have shadow sides where they work against you and not for you. They are the same at home and at work. However, yes, of course, you probably pull from different parts of them. I don't talk to my husband, Chad, at the dinner table like I do when I'm on a stage speaking to an audience of 10,000 people. I'm not that animated or whatever else. It's still me, though. I'm just pulling from different parts of my courage value. Right. I've also throughout the years, I used to say that your values are probably the same throughout your whole life in some aspect. But then the last several years of my life, I've been fighting a really horrible health battle. And there's nothing like pain and darkness to get you super clear on what matters most. And I have discovered the more people that have repeated the values lesson with me, especially the last 5-6 years, it's not that their values completely changed. It's one of the descriptor words of the 2 main values, it bubbled up to the top. They got more clarity. My values 5 years ago were courage and faith. Faith changed to love. Of course, love was always part of faith, but it just kind of bubbled up to the top. I got more clarity. I don't necessarily think that you're going completely opposite, but good God, I hope you're changing and
Yeah.
growing. Because if you're
Right,
not changing
right.
and growing, you're dying faster than you already are. Like
Right.
I am not the same person I was 20 years ago. I'm not the same person I was a week ago, to be honest with you.
100%. 100%.
And so like I'm not sure that the values change. They
It's how they express themselves.
kind of like that bubbles up to the top is the easiest way we've
Yeah.
ever been able to describe it. But
Yeah.
it's two.
Mm-hmm.
Because and I'm always able to help people narrow it down to those two, because I will say like, which one of these is in all of the words that you've chosen?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or I once had an attorney, she was like, I have 5, and she was in the full training. I was like, okay, well, go home tonight with your 5, and I want you to talk to your family. And her, like, I think her daughter was 14, and her daughter goes, duh, mom, these are your 2 values, and I can tell you exactly why. This is what you did for me that reflects those values. And she was like, it was like a whole light bulb went off. And she was like, I just needed someone who really loves me and knows me well to be like, of course, these are your 2 values.
Yeah.
How do you not see that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the hardest to
Huh.
see
It's
it in
seriously-
ourselves,
yeah,
right?
it
I
is.
mean, it is, which
It
is
is.
why we need people like you who
Yeah.
help us kind of distill that down. It's a crazy journey we are on
Mhm.
as humans.
Mhm.
And it's interesting that you say what you say, that your values are with you your whole life. I know what my 2 values are. They express themselves very differently throughout my life.
Oh, I'm sure.
So that's the thing that I think is interesting. It's
Mhm.
like certain aspects, certain things in my life kind of trigger different behaviors
sure.
around those
Yep.
values. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's really interesting. I
Mhm.
never thought about that.
It is.
though.
It's the
Mhm.
foundational piece
Mhm.
of the work. Like,
yeah.
and it is probably when I get feedback on the curriculum, most people will say the values lessons changed my entire life.
Yeah.
Well, because it's not something that we're accustomed to really like sitting down
Yeah.
and being like, what are your
Uh-huh.
values?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and
like,
defining
yeah.
it as a characteristic of me,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Your values always feel like something I bestow upon everybody
Mm,
else.
mm.
It never really felt like something that I was a part of me. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I know that
yeah.
that sounds silly,
Well,
but
like-
it's like it always felt like saying your values was like, this is what I believe. This
Sure.
is how I believe. This
Right.
is
And they're beyond beliefs.
Right.
Like, you have beliefs on top of your values.
Right.
Right. Like, but like, think about any conflict that you've had in your life at home or at work. How much, not easier, because conflict's never going to be easy, but like, how much more courageous could those conflicts have been if we had known one another's values? Like, how do I, like, I don't agree with what you're thinking,
Mhm.
but if I can understand your values, like, oh, that's how come you're
Mm.
so hardcore on this.
Mhm.
Because this is your value, and this is how come I'm struggling to agree with that, because this is my value.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we want to be living in one another's values.
Right.
right.
Like, we want people to live in
Yeah.
their values. The team I worked with yesterday, they've done such hardcore values work that they all have a sign outside of their door with their 2 values.
Oh, I love that.
So you know
wow.
when
So
you
you
walk
know.
into their office what
Right.
who you're walking in with.
Right.
Like, and so like that's things that they seek to understand one another.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I kind of love that.
Mhm.
I think that that's so smart. I almost feel like everybody should have a badge that says "I lead with blah blah blah."
These are my 2
And
values.
then I
Yeah.
know, like,
And this is
oh,
what it means to
I
me
need to
too.
be a little nicer and gentler with this
Sure.
person, whereas this person expects a little more. "Arr."
Yeah. Right.
So
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. So we always start with values.
I love
I
that.
love that.
Always.
All
so
right.
that's in pathway 1.
Okay,
And like,
so
but then,
next-
so also in
goodness, we're only
pathway
on
1,
pathway
I know, right?
1. Jeez
Pathway 1
Louise.
is values, and then we also talk about emotional resilience and
Mhm.
emotional regulation and all the emotional well-being pieces. So like, it's feelings work and really teaching people how to feel their feelings well,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
so that they're not owned by them and they're not defined by their emotions. Instead, they are warning lights on a dashboard. They are telling you that something is amiss. You don't have to let them, and really teaching people how to stop living from the stories that they make up in their brains,
Right.
so that they stop reacting from their emotions and instead respond to their lives. So that's pathway 1. Then pathway 2 is like a quick stop. I call it embody again. It's all the like, how do you actually show up and follow through for yourself? Are you-
Mhm.
What's your nighttime routine look like? What's your morning routine look like? Are you eating? Are you drinking water? Are you moving your body? How is your sleep? How do you have awe and delight and presence in your life? Like, it is just it's beyond self-care. And pathway 3 is be fully you. So that's the authenticity piece. So like, who are you? We really talk about vulnerability in there, because a lot of times, especially with organizations, they'll say we want a courageous culture. We really don't want you to talk about vulnerability though.
Oh, goodness.
Really? You've had companies tell you that?
For sure.
Oh my goodness.
But you don't get authenticity without
No.
vulnerability. You
Correct.
also
No.
don't get courage without vulnerability. So we really talk about what is vulnerability, and like when you choose to show up as all of who you are in the spaces that you exist in, more times than not, people will show you who they are. And then now we're in connection, which is what we were made for. And it's not as painful when you're turning toward one another and doing it together.
Right.
So that's pathway 3. Pathway 4 is probably the biggest. I mean, in the full curriculum, it's the largest chunk, but I call it love others well. So how to like relate to, live with, and lead others well. I always tell people, like, if love is too squishy of a word for you for a corporate event, it's fine. Just shift it to care, dignity, respect, common humanity. Like for me, it's love. I love people. People are really, really hard, but I love them.
Yeah.
And so in that skill set, it's a lot of skills. We do empathy. We do shame resilience. We do courageous conversations, how to have hard conversations in a curious way. And most importantly, we operationalize trust. Because you can't just yell at people that they have to trust you because you have the most power in the room. No. You have to operationalize it. And trust has to be rebuilt because relationships really are just rupture and repair over and over and over. So, and then you've got pathway 5, which is do the work, or most days it's do the freaking work. And really it's just all of it together. But that big piece of do the work is to reclaim and rewrite your stories. And so all of our brains are wired for story. Our brains are also wired for comfort and safety. And so when something gets hard, our emotions start writing a story and your brain just starts going. We're all making up stories. We're all up against the same thing. It's whether or not you are aware of the stories that you make up. And the stories that we make up are not kind. They're not courageous. They're not generous. They're not usually based on concrete information. And then we go and live from them.
Right.
And so it's those stories that we have to reclaim and rewrite. I've also found one of the pieces that I really brought into Courage is Built here is because I really learned working in the corporate space for the last 7 years. Yes, it's the stories that we make up in any given hard moment that hold us back from courage. It's really, though, the old narratives. Like the stories that were born of the toughest seasons of your life. That have really worked deep grooves into your brain. And so we're going to reclaim, and I teach people how to rewrite them and to live from what is true. And that's Courage is Built here.
So tell us, when you mentioned operationalizing a lot.
Yes.
So that's obviously a trigger word for you.
Yep.
Tell us and describe for us what does that mean? What does that look like?
It's really, for the most part, it's behavior. Like it has to be more than words. When I'm talking about operationalizing your values, how do they show up in your behavior? Operationalizing trust, because a lot of time we just talk this really squishy word of trust, and then our brains are like, oh my gosh, she doesn't trust me. I don't even know what to do with that.
Right.
Well, if I'm able to say, Angela, I'm really struggling to trust you because you've missed that deadline 3 times, and so it's affecting our reliability, which affects our trust. Now I know what we can work on, and my acronym for trust is Big Cedar, and so like it's an acronym: boundaries, integrity, grace. And then communication, empathy, dependability, accountability, and reservoir. So like I help people operationalize trust. Like it's a recipe. Where has trust been broken so that you can look at that piece and say, I'm struggling to trust you. And it's because of this piece. And how can I support you to get there? Because you can't miss that deadline again.
Right.
Like that's courageous conversations.
Yeah.
But we have to operationalize it into behaviors.
Right.
I mean, like Maya Angelou said, like when people show you who they are, believe them.
Yes.
I add to that, and people can change.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's too little, too late.
Right.
Sometimes the harm is too great, and people can change.
Right. Well, and I love the term operationalizing, because I think that part of what people need to recognize is don't be triggered because I'm telling you I can't trust you. This is part of the language we have to speak to be really clear so that I can clearly define what I'm struggling with so that we can find common ground. And I think that that's one of the things that all of us struggle with, their feelings. I don't want to hurt their feelings by telling them I can't trust them.
Correct.
Because it does. And that's painful to hear that from somebody that you're trying very hard to please. Right. And if we're people pleasers, we want the people around us to be happy with everything we do. So I'm curious, after we get back from our break, we're getting ready to take a quick break. I kind of want to go into that a little bit because I think trust is a very important thing for any founder. It's definitely a key, man. That's just something that you've got to really know how to do it and do it right.
Agreed.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Justine after the break.
St. Louis, meet your new daily companion, the Lou Information Station app. Listen live anywhere, anytime with one click. Dive into live or on-demand content. It's the fastest way to stay connected to the conversations that matter in the Lou. Just search Lou Information Station in the App Store or Google Play and download it free today. The Lou Information Station app. Crystal clear St. Louis talk 24/7.
When you buy a hot tub, you want more than bubbles. You want value that lasts. At St. Louis Hot Tub Warehouse, their low overhead means premium American-made products priced better than the competition and the best price guarantee in town. They'll beat any local dealer on a comparable model. With over 38 years in business and 400-plus five-star reviews, you can trust they'll be there to service your spa long after the sale. St. Louis Hot Tub Warehouse. Highest quality, best price. Visit besthotTubPrices.com today.
Is your brand stuck on the sidelines? Tired of feeling like your marketing budget is just warming the bench? Well, then it's time to get in the game with Eyesight Media. We don't just put your brand near the action, we put you in the action. Imagine this, your company front and center, showcased in NCAA and pro stadiums and arenas nationwide. If you're ready to elevate your brand to MVP status, don't miss this shot. Visit eyesightmediagroup.com today to apply for an in-arena partnership. That's eyesightmediagroup.com.
LouInfo.com news headlines. Brought to you by Brown and Crouppen, 222-2222.
With your LouInfo.com news, I'm Jared Sorello. St. Louis County Police are releasing video of a deadly officer-involved shooting at a Walgreens in Maryland Heights last November. Footage of the incident shows 23-year-old Jacob Mercer refusing orders to show his hands and then firing gunshots at the officers. They returned fire and fatally struck him. Franklin County residents are voicing opposition to the possibility in their area. Hundreds were in attendance at a county planning and zoning commission meeting last night where they considered a proposal to rezone more than 570 acres of farmland near the Shaw Nature Preserve for a data center complex. And St. Louis residents could soon see an increase to their water bill. The city water department says it's conducting a review of its rates as it faces a serious financial situation. Water officials say the department's revenue is not keeping up with rising costs. The Lou Information Station is streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com. I'm Jared Sorello.
Now, LouInfo.com weather. Presented by STL Sports Central. St. Louis sports. Anytime, anywhere.
Here's your LouInfo.com weather update. We're watching an Arctic cold front that'll be arriving over our area on Friday. For now, we'll stay fairly mild. Low 40s on today's high, partly cloudy. Mid-20s overnight, breezy and clear. And then we're in the upper 30s with a mix of sunshine and clouds on Thursday. Mid-teens is about it for the high on Friday and cloudy. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton for the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com and the free Lou Info app.
Introducing the Key STL Burger Bar and Boogie, your new home in the Grand Center Arts District. The Key STL is where the music plays, the game is always on, and the dance floor is open. The Burger Bar features the ultimate smash burger experience with premium pasture-raised local beef and a dozen house-made sauces to top it all off. It's the Key STL Burger Bar and Boogie, 3225 Olive in Midtown. Before, during, or after any game, this is the spot, St. Louis. Find out more at thekeystl.com.
Tune in each week as STL Sports Central, the Lou Information Station, and the Too Many Men on the Mic podcast present the Mid-States Club Hockey Association Game of the Week. Brought to you by Mattingly Lumber, Vantage Credit Union, Chicken and Pickle, and by the Watson Private Wealth Group at Stifel.
I'm Big Toe Media President Dave Green, and for the last few months, I've been telling you about what makes Home Bank different. Local people, local decisions, and real relationships. So let me take that a step further. When you walk into Home Bank, you're not walking into a system, you're walking into a conversation. This is a bank that understands St. Louis because they're part of it. The people making decisions live here. work here, and invest back into the same communities you do. That matters, especially when you need answers, flexibility, and a partner you can trust. Big banks can make promises. Home Bank builds relationships. If you're ready for a smarter, more personal banking experience, I'd encourage you to start that conversation today with Home Bank, the team behind our team. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. Home Bank, member FDIC. More than a bank, they're your business partner.
The Earl Austin Experience with Earl Austin Jr. Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. Brought to you by Fast Track Auto Transport, St. Louis's go-to company for all your vehicle transport needs. Visit ftautotrans.com or call 636-677-9004. Back to more of Co-Found Hers with Lisa Lidbag and Angela Sandler on the Lou Information Station. Streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com.
Hey, there's a lot of dancing going on in here. We're so excited to be back with Justine to talk a little bit more about her philosophies on Courage is Built Here, which is her actual program. But first, we have a few housekeeping items. So as you guys heard on the commercial, this is Lou Information Station at louinfo.com. You will also be able to find this podcast and others on all the usual suspects, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, et cetera. We also have a YouTube channel under Lou Info Station. And if you really, really love us, go find us on Instagram at CoFoundHers and drop us a line. Tell us that you like us. I mean, we need a little feedback from you guys. If you're listening live, 314-590-3770 is our text line, but only if you're listening live. Okay. We're not going to get your texts after the fact, Mom. Sorry. All right. Back with Justine talking about all things courageous.
Yes.
So we left off, we were talking about trust and what a triggering conversation that is between anybody, your spouse, your friends, your business partners, your colleagues at your company, whatever it is. So tell us kind of how you approach that with people, because I feel like that's probably your biggest hurdle as a practitioner.
It is. Well, the number one concern I'm being called in for is we need help having hard conversations.
Yeah.
So whether or not it's about trust or anything or accountability, things like that. I think I have 6 accountability sessions with teams who have done the work with me this week, and every single one asked for, we need to practice the hard conversations. So if they're doing accountability sessions with me, they've been through the whole training. So so they have the curious language, they have the common language with one another, and hard conversations are hard. They are awkward,
right?
They're not fun.
No.
And I think one of the things that we tell ourselves that we avoid hard conversations because we don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. We don't want to trigger people. Also, trigger is a trigger word. Also, we also have to stop weaponizing mental health terms.
Correct.
So
correct.
Trigger is one of them.
Yes.
So because I'm not responsible if you were triggered.
Right.
I'm really not.
Right.
I am, as someone who lives with courage. I want to be aware of you seem triggered.
Yeah.
What did you? So for me, I teach people what did you just hear me say? I want to make sure I said it the way I meant it. So notice I just put the onus on how I said it, not how you heard it.
Correct.
That's very important.
Yes.
I want to make sure you heard me right. Nope. I want to make sure that came out of my mouth in the way that I meant it.
Yeah.
Right.
What'd you just hear me say?
That.
I want to make sure that you understand me in the way that I want to make sure, because it flies out of our mouth with a tone that we weren't aware of. And we just, maybe we're not aware of our facial expression. I mean, I make the joke, the self-awareness work is part of this work is what's your face look like?
Yeah.
How do you hold your face? It matters.
Does matter. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It so matters.
Yeah. It really, really matters. Because all the stories that people can make up based on how you're holding your face.
Right.
That is part of being a self-aware leader. It really, really is. It's not just your body language and all of that stuff. But we tell ourselves that we don't want to have those hard conversations because we don't want to hurt someone else's feelings.
Right.
It's a lie. We don't have hard conversations because we're not willing to navigate our own discomfort.
Yeah. Well, so that goes back to the accountability, right? It's being accountable for yourself. I love this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Accountability is hard. I think, especially in the world that we're living in, it has to include accountability.
Yeah.
Love includes accountability.
Yep.
Empathy includes accountability.
Mhm.
Trust includes accountability. And so how do I hold people accountable to what I need and expect from them? That's only by speaking expectations,
Right.
which means having hard conversations. How many times are you angry and resentful and judgmental towards someone simply because you have let them get away with something that's not okay with you because you never told them it was not okay?
Yes.
So true.
I mean, we're,
Right? Like,
we're
stop.
parents.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
We're
Like,
both
yeah.
parents.
Stop
Yeah.
blaming people
Yeah.
for not meeting your expectations, especially the expectations that you have never stated out loud.
Right.
Right.
It's
But
so
those are
smart.
hard conversations to have.
Right.
And so, like, really, we have to first calm our own stuff.
Mhm.
Right.
Like, you got to really get your thinking brain back online, calm the emotions if possible. Like, not every conversation can wait. And, like, in reality, like, I'm talking about calm your system in a matter of minutes, not
Mhm.
3 weeks.
Right.
Stop avoiding hard conversations and then coming back and saying, hey, 3 weeks ago you said this thing and it was really not okay with me. And then
Mhm.
Angela looks at me and she's like, I have no idea what you're
What you're
talking about. I don't remember that, right?
Yeah.
Nor
Yeah.
can you now change it. You
Yeah.
can't change it now because I wasn't courageous enough to say it then
Right.
in the moment to say, like, hey, for me, that felt really not okay. Is that how you meant this?
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So kind of riffing off of that, how do you change that behavior? Because we are programmed to avoid conflict. That is human nature. It's fight or flight,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
that natural instinct to
Right.
avoid it.
It's biological.
Yeah, it is a natural
safety. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you operationalize, I'm going to use your
Mhm.
word, those new behaviors in a way that it feels good, because that's hard.
I think we have to first, if you're expecting it to feel comfortable, you're never going to do it.
Right.
Courage is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I am uncomfortable all day, every day
Yeah.
because courage is vulnerable. And so, like, if we're waiting for comfort to do it, you'll never have the hard conversation. And so, like, it is because the easiest way to think about it, your partner or spouse, you need them to help you with something, but you don't ask for it. You just hold on to the resentment and you hold on to it for a little while. And then the slightest comment or frustration that has nothing to do with anything sets you off.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it's the easiest example. The unspoken is never benign. It has power. The more you refuse to talk about the thing under the thing under the thing, the more that thing runs everything. It owns you.
Right.
And it festers. And resentment erodes trust between us.
Right.
And even if I haven't named the difficulty between us, because I haven't said it, it's eroding the trust. You can still feel it. People can feel it. It's like something's
Yeah.
off. I don't know what's
Right.
going on.
Right.
Oh,
But she
yeah.
hasn't said anything, so maybe we're good. Except I don't feel good,
Right.
and then it just continues to grow and fester,
Right.
and then maybe something very small happens, and we blow up.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's so hard though. But if we're waiting to be comfortable to have the hard conversation, you're going to wait forever. I always tell people, like, I was working with another team last night, and I was like, what if we just started hard conversations by saying, this is going to be a hard, awkward conversation. And so, and we need to have it though, because it's worse to not have it.
Right.
One, are you in a place to have it? Can we talk about it? And if not, when can we?
Yeah.
Like, as in, like, less than 24 hours from now, when can we? Right. Because also one of the other things we have to talk about, especially in leadership, is the workforce is different. And so I'm hearing a lot that I have the hard conversation and they go into total shame and shutdown.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
once someone is in shame and shutdown, you're done.
Yes.
They're not hearing you and you have to take a break. Then I get back. Well, what if they always shut down? And I was like, so then you get to figure out of, like, are you going to coach them up and out of that? Because that is not growth behavior. And I'm assuming is also not aligned with your organization's values. Or they need to be referred out for work, for counseling through the EAP or something like that. You cannot shut down every time you get feedback. Feedback is the only way that we improve.
Right.
It's a gift.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never easy to hear.
Right.
And it's always personal. Stop
Right.
hiding behind data and saying, like, well, it's just feedback.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not personal. Yes, it is. Our work
Yeah.
is personal.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a huge part of our identity for most of
Right.
us.
Well,
if not
and-
for some of us, all of our identity.
Right.
Right.
And when you're in
Right.
that space with that other person or those other people, it is personal because
Mhm.
it does affect
Always.
everything. I mean, we talk about this all the time that we're business partners now for 10 years and we anticipate and we know when things are off, we
Yeah.
both know
Yes.
it.
Right.
And we've had to have those hard conversations between ourselves. It's like, those are things that build trust and also strengthen
The
teams.
relationship.
Always, for
It
sure.
always strengthens team. I mean, if you approach it in the right ways, and we're not professionals like you. I'm sure I don't use the right language, and I don't know that all of my stuff has always been
perfectly is better. Like that, I'm going to be on the side of, even if you say it imperfectly or screw it up, and then circle back when you do screw it up.
Right.
Is better than not saying anything at all.
Right.
Like it. Because also, I'm going to guess, take way less time and probably money in bottom dollar.
Yes.
Right.
Always.
Than not saying something.
It is fascinating how it does affect everything down to the bottom line.
Oh, yeah.
You
It
know,
does.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
From a business perspective.
For sure. Performance, mistakes, all of that. For sure. And that's one of the hardest things for me as an entrepreneur is like helping decision makers see the ROI in this work. Like it is directly tied to your to people's
100%.
performance, to maintaining good talent,
Yes.
to helping, especially the younger generation who wants to have impact at work and feel like they matter, but also wants a life. Like it matters. And also, like, I can't necessarily say, yes, if you learn how to freaking talk about trust, you'll make more money. I really do believe that.
But it is, some people need to be hit over the head like that because in shown example, like real examples of it. But I do believe like all of that feeds into culture. And if your culture sucks, your output sucks. I'm sorry. That's just the bottom line of it. Like grind people so hard and get good results. Right. If they're not happy.
You'll just keep running through people, which there are definitely some decision makers that are okay with that.
Yes.
You will never have a consistent team because you'll burn people out.
Yeah.
And they will leave.
Or you're telling yourself the stories that everybody's had. Like we've worked with an individual who's told himself the stories that everybody loves me. This is a wonderful culture. Everybody loves it because he never gets the feedback from his staff.
Because they're scared of him probably.
And they're scared of they're scared to lose their job. So this is that, that complete opposite of what you're teaching, this management of, management by bullying and managing, fear.
Command and control.
That I really believe that our younger generation, like Remy and Ryan and Brody, who are all sitting here with us, they're not going to accept that.
Correct.
They will go find something.
They will go find somewhere else.
Like OGs, like, man, I took so much abuse early in my career without a blink.
Yeah.
But
it's not how it is anymore.
This new generation,
it used to be respected to be the
bully.
The bully,
yeah.
the bitch or whatever, and it's changed.
It's changed. It's different. It really is different.
It's so fun to watch. And I love it. Like, being kind of on the second chapter of my career, I love watching this happen. And I love that they don't settle for that kind of behavior. I love it. It just, it's so inspiring. So I tell my son all the time, your generation is going to be the one that changes all this. Like you really are going to change the way that we work.
I agree.
And I love that you're in that space. Like
that's one of
so
my most
smart.
Popular workshops is leading and working among different generations. We have 5 generations in the workplace.
Right now. My gosh. Really?
Holy, so you got
boomers.
Wow. And then
all the way down to who we are. Like, are they A's now? I
think they're A's now.
Alpha. Yeah.
Alpha.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I mean, it's 5. So, so we'll talk about things like, well, they just don't want to work.
Yeah. That's not it.
Number one, we're not monoliths. Just because someone is a certain age or race or ethnicity, like does not mean that they're all the same.
Right.
First off.
Right.
Second, like their definition of work is just different than yours.
Correct.
Right.
And so and you have to figure out how to help your culture change your definition of work so that you can keep good talent. We also, though, we need wisdom.
Yes.
We need our history. We need to know what worked and what didn't work.
Right.
How do we honor where we've come from while also moving forward and welcoming the younger generation because they are going to change it.
Right.
So tell us what that looks like in a corporate setting, because that's one of the things I left before that transition was really kind of in full swing. And we have, I believe, and maybe Remy can chime in here, but I believe we have a really good open culture within our companies. But when I look at big corporate America, what does that look like? These entering in these new generations.
It's a lot of it's just a lot of making up stories about people based on what you think you know about them versus kind of saying like having a conversation. Like I once had a CEO look at me, he goes, okay, he goes, I have a younger employee and like she is like packed up and gone at 5:00.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And he goes like gone. And I was like, I go, all right. I go, is her work done? Oh yeah. Is her work done well? Oh yes. Like very well. is she supposed to be there past 5? No. And I looked at him, I said, this sounds like a you problem and not a her
100%.
problem.
Yes.
Right? Is there a company policy being broken? Like, is it affecting the team culture, or is this just something different? Because the younger generation, they want a life.
Yes. They want balance.
They want a life, and they want to know that they have impact. And so like, it is this, and he was like, I go, it's just changing your definition of work. Like, even when I work with like public accounting firms, like we have to look, my husband was in public accounting for years, and it's like, you have to look at how you change. You're going to have partners if you are requiring 80 hours a week, because that $400,000 paycheck is not enough to keep them to, or have them work longer.
Right.
No.
Like, they don't want it anymore. That's, their values are just different. It doesn't mean that their work ethic is different.
Right.
It's just different.
Right.
It's not really better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to have those open conversations. And so I encourage the CEO, like, just to talk to his employee, like, can you, like, I'm just wondering, is there something that you're leaving at 5 because you don't like it here? Or, and she was, of course, like, no, I have to go pick up my kids and I want to be with my family.
Yeah.
Right.
It was some, and she's,
So simple.
and she said, like, am I supposed to be here?
Yeah.
And he was like, no. He was like, apparently it's my problem.
I
At
love
least he was
that.
open
Yeah.
to
Right.
that,
He really
you
was.
know?
But you could, it just like kind of never dawned. But
Yeah.
how long had he been making up stories
Yes.
about this employee who was packing up at 5, even though her work was done and it was done well?
Mm-hmm.
And he was judging her without checking in with her.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And so, like, it's that, like, you are making up stories about people and about yourself. So what's it going to take to lean into your values, choose courage to say, like, hey, I'm actually, like, I've noticed you're leaving at 5 and I'm making up this story. Like, you don't want to be here. You're not into this culture. Like, is that true?
Mm-hmm.
And like, when someone chooses to share their story that they're making up with you, they're choosing to be vulnerable. So
Yeah.
like, don't weaponize it,
Yeah.
but it's also okay to be like, I always tell people the 80-20 rule almost always matters. Like,
Mhm.
like 20% of people like, yeah, I freaking hate it here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that's why I'm out of here at 5. Right. And then you get to have that hard conversation.
Yeah.
But 80% of people like, oh no, I love it here. I just want to be home with my family
Right.
at a decent
Right.
time. And it takes me an hour to get home in traffic. And so I'm going to leave at 5.
Right.
So
It's-
go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry,
I was,
Angela.
I was just gonna say it's so fascinating about the stories that
Uh-huh.
people make up and that everything is story.
Yep.
And I was gonna ask what your, I don't know if it's advice or your knowledge of how you frame that as an individual and
Mhm.
what are kind of your guidelines of when you think about situations to kind of remind yourself
Yeah.
that it's a story.
Yeah.
Like, how do you kind of work through that? Because I know that I've read like Man's Quest or, oh God, no, I'm missing. What's it called?
Yeah.
Man's Search for Meaning.
Meaning.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Viktor
Yeah.
Frankl.
Yeah.
It's like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be required reading.
Yeah.
For all humans.
And like one of the first things is like it's never about you.
It's
Or
not.
something,
It's never
Oh,
about
you
you.
know.
never.
And there's a whole space between, the trigger
Yeah.
and your response. There's a space there. And it's the stories that you make up. And so like,
Mhm.
it is this process to know, like, our brains are wired for safety and comfort. We are wired to still run from the saber-toothed tiger, except we
Yes.
don't have saber-toothed tigers anymore. We have phones that we wear on our wrists.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we have to-do lists that are never getting done. And we have a news cycle that never ends. And we have apps that we open up and we are assaulted with violence, even though that's not, we just logged on to see a cute puppy, right? Like,
Mhm.
so we have to think about that. Like, our brains are wired for safety and comfort. They're also wired for story. They need a beginning, middle, and end. When something hard happens, emotions come in first, and then it has to fill in the missing data points. In the absence of data, we just make crap up.
Mhm.
And so when something tough happens, most likely you probably feel something in your body. There's a physiological response. Your heart races, your mind races, or maybe there's no thoughts. Your hands get cold but sweaty at the same time. Your mouth goes dry. Your body tells you when you're hooked by emotion.
Right.
Some people are like, I don't feel it in my body, but I can tell what I think. Like, for me, as soon as the word idiot comes through my head, like, I know I'm in my emotion. Like, that
Mhm.
driver that just cut me off in
Yeah.
traffic, an idiot. My dogs are adorable. They are idiots.
Uh-huh.
And then I turn on myself. I'm an idiot. So like, sometimes it might just be your thinking that you know that you're
Yeah.
hooked.
Right.
It also can be your behavior. What's
Yeah.
the first thing that you want to do when things get hard? Drink, eat, scroll, binge watch,
Disconnect.
shop,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
all these things, like avoid, plow
Yeah.
through, stuff like
Yeah.
that, things like that,
Yeah.
right? So these are our symptoms to help us recognize, like, ugh,
right.
emotion has me, which tells me that my thinking, rational, courageous brain is no longer firing. I have to get it back on track. So you have to slow down the physiological response. The easiest way is to take a few deep breaths. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, true deep breaths where you're moving your diaphragm. I would love for you to maybe bounce around or take a walk, like move it through your body. And then we ask ourselves, what's the story I'm making up?
Yeah.
What's the story I'm telling myself? Or one of my favorites lately is I have convinced myself of this.
Ooh, that's a good
And so
one.
like easy example, especially for, I think like team members and for founders is like, you got somebody that you've noticed in meetings, they've gotten pretty quiet lately. They're
Mhm.
usually outspoken, contribute great ideas, but you can tell they're shut down, they're quiet. You are making up a story. He doesn't want to be here anymore. He's disengaged. He doesn't believe in the mission. He's already started to look for
Right.
other work.
Right.
And then you start changing the way you interact with him because you're living from the story that you make up. Courage is simply like, okay, I am like getting super triggered by him getting quiet. That's really unusual for him. I'm going to breathe, take a break, ask myself, what's the story I'm making up? And then I'm going to check in with him. Hey, I've noticed you've gotten kind of quiet in our meetings lately. I've convinced myself that you don't want to be here anymore.
Right.
That you're checked out, that you're looking for other work.
So you're going to name it.
You're going to name it. And like, is this always possible or safe? No. Like there's going to be definitely stories that you have in your life with certain relationships that you have to check those stories for yourself and wrestle with yourself. It's not going to be safe and healthy for you to go back to that person. For the most part, though, if you are in relationship with that person now, it probably needs to be checked in with.
Right.
And I'm going to go back to that 80-20 rule. 20% would be like, yeah, I hate it here.
Mhm.
I have started looking for work. Do you have a problem with that?
Yeah.
The 80% will be, he'll be like, I can see why you think that.
Right.
My mom was just diagnosed with cancer. I'm in charge of all of her appointments and I'm really, really overwhelmed. That's the only reason I've gotten quiet.
Yeah.
Because have you created the space where someone feels brave and safe enough for them to share with you what they have going on? And are you making up a catastrophic story that is nothing like that? And it's changing the way you interact with them. And are you going to have the courage to check in with them about it?
That is so powerful. Yeah, right. Our heads are exploding.
It's life-changing.
Again,
It is life-changing.
I feel like this conversation needs to go on for like another 5 hours, which means I need to go to one of your retreats. So why don't you tell our listeners how they can find you before we get cut off here?
Okay.
I really want to make sure that we get that in.
Yeah. So everything's my name. So the website's justinefroelker.com. I have a weekly newsletter there. If you sign up for the newsletter, you get a free boundaries download because I love boundaries. So, but I also have my own podcast, Courage is Built Here podcast that releases every Wednesday. And then I have an online course, Courage is Built Here. I have my trainings are 3-day trainings in person here in St. Louis. And soon, the next one in April will be at our new retreat space that we are building here in St. Louis.
Congratulations.
So it's been a dream, 10 years in the making. So it's finally happening.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Goals.
Goals. We also covered a lot of books and all that stuff, which Remy will be putting up on Co-Founders on Instagram. You will find us a little later today on all your usual suspects for podcasts. And Justine, thank you. This was such a powerful conversation. And we really appreciate all of your insights, and we certainly did not get to cover even half of
Did
what
you
we
get your
should have talked
questions?
about.
Like all those questions you prepared.
Yeah.
I knew you wouldn't.
No.
They were good questions.
No.
I know. Well, we'll have to have you back.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Then we'll ask them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we're going to keep topping these shows week after week. Okay. Anyway, bye everyone. We'll see you next
Have a
week.
good weekend.
Thank you.
Introducing the key SEO